All right, welcome. Welcome, everybody. My name is Emily Anderson with FranNet, and I would like to introduce Paige Nicol with FranNet as well. And it's my pleasure to introduce Lance Freeman with Expo. And we're just going to have a conversation today. Anybody that is joining us gosh, Lance, I don't know how many months we have been trying to get this because this launch has been coming. So there's been a lot of buildup. But for those who are joining us, Lance, tell us a little bit about Expo and tell us a bit about the brand that we're launching here today. And then Paige and I are just going to have some questions. We'll just jump into a dialogue. Sound good?
Sounds great. Hey, thanks, Emily and Paige, for having me. I appreciate it very much. I'm going to try to make this as short as I can because I could, me, I could talk about Exponential and Rumble probably for a couple of days. But as far as our company, Exponential is really the parent company that really owns now nine boutique fitness verticals. As a boutique fitness platform, we're the largest platform really in the world. We've got 3,500 licenses signed globally. We're in 15 countries now. Most of our licenses are here in the US, just short of about 2,000 stores open domestically across the now 9 verticals in boutique fitness. So in fact, I even have a quick illustration just to kind of show you the size of, sorry for it to bounce around here, but you can kind of get a sense real quick. Sorry, I need to do a quick screen share here. Is that okay if I do that?
Yeah, that's totally fine. I just made you co-host, so.
Oh, you're amazing. Thank you. So if you can see this view here, you can kind of see just as a system, we're really, our Pilates vertical is 9 times the largest Pilates competitor out there. Our bar competitor, Pure Barre, obviously, 6 times larger than any other competitor out there. And the cycling space, we're 2 times the largest competitor out there. But, because of COVID, it's interesting, we are in a really strong position as we continue to grow. Some of our competitors, even major brand competitors like Flywheel, we don't wish any ill will on anybody, but it's a reality of business. Flywheel went bankrupt last year. And so we gobbled them up, purchased their stores and converted them to cycle bars. So now it increases the size of that footprint. So if you kind of look at us as a curator of these boutique fitness brands, you can kind of see here, we've taken like Club Pilates with 28 licenses, and now, they have 633 stores open and operating, but 900 licenses awarded. So, and same path for Cycle Bar and Yoga 6, they have 400 and 500 licenses awarded respectively, and are on a path to, hundreds of locations open. So I know you guys know, because you're experts in this, but for those that don't understand franchising, I think there's 4,000 concepts out there today, and I think it's less than 3% that ever get 100 doors open. So we're a very large franchisor from that aspect, which I think is of value because of just the tremendous amount of experience that's there. Our leadership team is just incredible, and the amount of resources really that we have to support our franchise partners is really key. One of the things we're really just proud of, especially coming out of 2020, was that we didn't have, out of those almost 2,000 stores, we did not have one permanent closure across all of our exponential verticals, and we didn't have any lawsuits either. And so we're really proud of that. Not only did we not have anybody close permanently, we also opened 250 stores last year, which, I don't know that there's really any retailers that can probably tout that in general, let alone in our space. And so we were a bit of a unicorn in COVID. We were able to really pivot to a digital on-demand. In fact, to go back here, you can kind of see the model. We went to this Go system, and when lockdowns happened, we were able to pivot to our digital on-demand platform and give our members basically that access to all of our, at that time, eight modalities, to be able to keep their draft on. So we were able to retain 86% of our members across all systems. We kept about 70% of our draft on for our franchisees while they weren't paying rent and payroll. And that really bridged the gap for us to really come to the other side of this. And now be in this really dominant position. And I find it, for me personally, I've been in both fitness and franchising for 2.5 decades. Makes me feel old when I say that. But, I've gone through the 08s and the ups and downs of economic things. And one of the things that I love about boutique fitness is I feel one of the most kind of bulletproof tested spaces and very recession resistant, I'd like to say as well. We've seen, in fact, after 08, the fitness industry grew from a $19 billion industry to a $21 billion industry, one of only 4 segments that actually experienced growth, after 08 in 3 years. So we love the space. And, for us sitting here today, 25, I think Ursha just did a recent study, 25% of our competition has been shrunk. Again, we don't wish that on anybody, but it's just a fact of business that a lot of our independents are, competitors are not coming back. Even major brands are not as well. And, so for us, it's interesting because the narrative last year was, fitness is dead. And this year the narrative is there's a wellness boom here. And it's true. We are seeing more new members coming into our business models than we have ever seen. Utilizations are higher than ever. Our system-wide revenues are back and then some. We're just going through some really explosive growth right now. And people are realizing there's an amazing real estate opportunity right now. If you're getting into a process with us at this time and, you're opening 6 months from now, kind of rolling into New Year's resolution time and our best quarter of the year in terms of new business. And so it's a pretty exciting time for Exponential. Sorry to ramble on there, but.
No, I hear you. So taking a step back for people that aren't familiar with Expo. So we've got, this is a great timeline here. So we started with Club Pilates in 2015, and you showed earlier, took that from 28 licenses to over 600. Is that right?
Correct. Actually, today it's at over 900, but the 622 are stores open. So we like to say, we're in the business of opening studios, not just awarding licenses.
Not just, big difference.
Yeah, that's right.
And so over the course, so since 2015, which was the first brand, Expo has come along, and now we have opened and proven and systematized all these amazing verticals in boutique fitness. And then here we are today, we're about to introduce a 9th brand. Real quick, for people who aren't familiar, could you just name the brands that are already part of Expo?
Absolutely. And I love how you put that, by the way, because, for us, we look at this not to oversimplify it, but we really look at, not that we can go into any modality or vertical and be successful with it. We're very selective with the modes that we go into, which we like to say are core verticals. It's like Pilates, premium indoor spinning, rowing, yoga, running on a wood weight treadmill, stretching, dance, bar, all very what we call our core verticals. They're not fads. We know they have stood the test of time and will be legacy brands. So that's key in our brand selection. But we wanted to give our members an opportunity to really be able to access all these modalities. And now our newest one, Rumble, which I'll review with you today too, is in the boxing segment. But we've been very selective about that. We want to do one thing and do it better than anybody else in that modality, rather than try to be everything to everyone and not be good at anything, is really our philosophy. And how we built these things. But largely the box that we go into, the sales and marketing engine and the operating platform that we really built in Club Pilates, our most successful vertical to date, we've overlaid that into all these other modalities and seen the same type of success in that business model. So we like to say, we're really more than anything a sales and marketing engine that really we take these. We didn't create yoga any more than we created boxing or Pilates, but what we did do is really bring a distribution channel to market that made sense to open this up and invite everybody into our brands and win in the market, much like Starbucks has done with their experience. That they didn't invent coffee, or maybe their coffee's not any better than the coffee shop down the street, but they've created an experience. And again, a channel for people to really go and get their coffee.
Hey, Lance, before you jump into any specific brand, this goes really back to Exponential Fitness as a whole. I'm in Southern California. And I've been doing franchising here for, I don't know, almost 30 years now. The vast majority of the people I work with are corporate executives. And these are people, because California is an expensive environment, they're making good money at their jobs, or if they're in transition, they're planning to go back to work full time. So they're looking for something part-time, something I like to call semi-absentee. And so I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about exponential brands and how the corporate executive that's looking for residual income and building equity, how that works in, what's the expectation of the owner?
Yeah, it's a great question. And actually there's kind of some myths associated with that, I would say, meaning sometimes I get people that assume that people that are coming into our system already have franchising experience or already have business ownership experience. And I'd say it's inversely proportional. I'd say 90% of our new partners have never owned a business before or been involved in franchising. And that's why they look to a proven business model like ours. I would venture to say probably upwards of 80% of our over 1,000 franchisees today are high-level executives from corporate America that have had great careers, but are now either looking to diversify and build as you said, a kind of a passive income stream in a semi-passive business model, or some, semi-absentee type of business model that they can not only build revenue in and scale, but also build wealth in the business, so that at some point, if they wanted to exit corporate America and really be able to have control over their time and their schedule and be able to continue to scale in a business like ours, they're able to do that. One of the things that I'd like to say is, again, coming back to that operational kind of platform that we utilize across all verticals, it's really the same from what you mentioned. We call it a semi-absentee business model. And it is so because, for one, it's actually the franchisee should not be in the day-to-day operations in our model. All of our business models are general manager operated, so they have GMs in them. And so the business owner is not, shouldn't be in there being the GM. They should not be in there teaching class. They should not be in there, wiping down the equipment or answering the phones. We really want them to really focus on two things: really managing the manager and managing their business by the KPIs I call, or key performance indicators in the business, by the numbers. And so it should be, 5 to 10 hours a week in a mature business at most, in terms of doing those things in the business. And so they should not be buying themselves a job. In fact, we even look at our top performing owners across all systems, and the 98% of our top third are utilizing the GM model. So they are not the owner operator types. And we strongly encourage our owners to not, try to be in the day-to-day operations, because it doesn't work well. So that's exactly what we're looking for. And one thing I'll also mention to you, it's not a requirement to be a guru in Pilates or yoga or any of these modalities to consider one of our business models. I'd venture to say 80% of our investors and our executives that invested in the Club Pilates model, now with 900 licenses, 80% of them have never taken a Pilates class in their life before coming to what we call a confirmation, discovery day, and experiencing it for the first time. So very typical. We're looking for people that are wanting to build a business, but not necessarily, buy themselves a job.
And this will probably deal a little bit more with your new launch of Rumble, which you're going to talk about today. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, people come to me, especially in Southern California, and say, hey, I want to open my business in Huntington Beach or Mission Viejo or what have you. And a lot of times the businesses they're looking at are sold out. In other words, they can't come. And I know when I started my UPS stores back in the mid 80s, one of the things that I pinned my success on was I got in the good locations early. So maybe more specific to Rumble, in the Southern California market, how are you guys looking? How are you developing? What's the territory look like right now?
It's a great question. Again, to answer it head on, we're wide open in the Southern California market, which I think is an incredible opportunity, because I always say you don't usually get both. And what I mean by that is, typically, if you look at getting in with a very seasoned and experienced franchisor that knows what they're doing and has tremendous resources to support the franchisee to ensure their success, typically you're kind of last in and looking at leftovers in terms of territory. And that's not necessarily the worst thing, because you can kind of, others have blazed the trail for you a little bit, but at the same time, you're not going to get the best dirt, as I call it. On the flip side, if you're getting in really early into a system, most typically you're working with a franchisor that's their first time scaling, and they're kind of learning as they go. And so you're going to experience their growing pains as you come along the path, which again is not the worst thing in the world, because it's, you're getting some great territory. So I look at Rumble as a very special opportunity. With you have the juggernaut here, the 800-pound gorilla in boutique fitness in terms of this exponential platform, a brand that is wildly successful now in just about every major DMA, like from LA to San Francisco to New York to Chicago to DC to Philly. But we, now as we do this national rollout with this, like I said, pretty much most of all of Southern California is wide open to get into this exciting brand with, again, tremendous leadership that has so much experience, not only with boutique fitness, but in this vertical and modality, and also with a franchisor that again has done this over 1,000 times.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. If appropriate, I have a little video just to kind of give your clients a little taste, a little feel of the brand DNA on Rumble. It is a hot one, and then I'd love to answer any other questions you guys might have about the brand itself.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Paige, I'm guessing that Paige and I need to mute ourselves so that we don't have a bunch of feedback, so we're only hearing Lance's screen. We'll see.
All right, let's see if I can. Well, maybe it should let me play this video for you guys. Let me do it this way. Are you guys seeing my screen at all right now?
It froze on my end.
Let me I'll do a stop share, and then let me try to.
There you go. There you go.
A new share for you here. Should work.
And while you're pulling that up, Lance, I'll tell you, and everybody who's here today, I was giving an educational seminar yesterday on business and franchise ownership. And one of the attendees just jumped in and said, my friend, she's an executive in career transition. My friend just opened and she mentioned one of Expo's brands. Oh. And she said, my friend is so happy. She can't believe how many members she got, the system. So anyway, it's always nice to hear when people are saying nice things behind your back. And you guys got a huge shout out.
Thank you. Thank you for that feedback. We really appreciate it. That's what we want. We want happy franchisees making money. For us, that's ultimately what we want. Let me play this for you, and hopefully this translates for you here. It's only like a minute, a little over a minute here.
Bring that ass back like a boom, 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 boom. Now let the games begin. I'ma always win. Remarkable round. Let's set it off in the mother. This is Nas, and you're listening to Rumble Music.
This is Pharrell from NERD at Rumble Boxing.
Fantastic
We're gonna go do Rumble. Let's go do some Rumble boxing. We are investors in the company.
A little Justin Bieber there for you. He's actually an investor now in Exponential, so it's pretty exciting. There's a lot of as you're gathering. In fact, I can just give you a little snapshot again on a screen share here of our investors that are involved in this. It's more of a fun thing than anything, but it's impactful as well. Just when you're building brand recognition, and when you've got a group of folks I'll show you like, I'm sorry, right here. Oh my gosh, not supposed to be. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe it's further back. I apologize.
Oh, well, this is what happens when we only give you a limited time.
I am
No
sorry.
worries.
Yes. Where are all my? I maybe we're, you know what? Maybe that's a consultant only a view. I guess I can say verbally. So we have Rocky himself, Sylvester Stallone, Justin Bieber, Alicia Keys, Jason Derulo, a lot of professional athletes that were investors in Rumble. And when we acquired Rumble, we moved their basically, their equity over at the cap table at Exponential. So it's exciting because they're not only are they spokespeople for Rumble at this point, but also for our Exponential brands. And so fun factor, but it really, I think from a marketing and awareness standpoint, that's what's unique about Rumble. Because, sometimes people think they're buying into a brand because of awareness, which I argue against, but it's amazing to me how many people know the Rumble brand because of its just stature. You've got a social following, and then obviously a kind of a celebrity backed brand as well. It's really a beast. We have, as I said, 13 locations open right now that are on what we call a signature model. And then we have, we're just in the midst of our national rollout. When we made the announcement that we acquired Rumble, overnight, I have the largest, I guess we'll call it pipeline of interested investors in Rumble that we do in any of our brands today. So it's pretty exciting. The buzz around it. The unit economics are, I don't know what I could say on this call, but they're like nothing I have seen in boutique fitness before. Pretty exciting. It's a very broad market, in terms of you got 30% men, 70% women that are attending the brand. And it's really a modality that people connect with, and that there's already an awareness in the marketplace, which is great for us. And so, we're really excited about this acquisition.
So, speaking of economics, and for those that don't know, Emily and myself and Lance, we can't speak specifically to net earnings, even though that'll be provided.
That's right.
And you can talk to owners and get that information. But as kind of a generic question, maybe about exponential brands, I know at least for my clients, and I'm guessing for Emily as well, and other people around the United States, my clients are, they're probably going to want to, earn something into the six figures. And we know it's not going to happen, day one. It's going to take time. But are these brands, in Exponential, are you experiencing that people can get there?
Oh, 100%. If in fact, studios, if they're not producing a six-figure EBITDA, we would call it in our model, then we would consider them an underperforming unit in our business model. The neat thing about our business model is these businesses, again, are membership based, so they drive this reoccurring revenue in the business, which we love. And I call it whatever you want to call it, AUV, average unit volume, top line gross revenue. These businesses drive on average in our exponential models. Maybe I'm not supposed to share that with you, but the nice thing is that because of the labor model, we essentially have a one instructor to, as an example, in the Rumble model, up to 50 members that are in the class. So most models, when you're looking at semi-absentee retail, as you guys know, are one-to-one. So if it's hair care, if it's retail massage, or if it's oil changes, I always say, you need to pay a technician every time that they perform a service. In our model, it's 1 to 50. So we have one instructor teaching, a class of 50 members, which drives great margins because of that, of the labor model. So at any given time, and which is why, again, I like to call it semi-absentee, any given time that you're open, really at most you might have 3 employees working at any given time, someone at the front desk, a GM, an instructor, and that's really it. So it's not very employee intensive. It's a simple business model. You're not chasing down money in collections, so there's no shrinkage and things of that nature, no spoilage. It's just this, we call it EFT, electronic funds transfer, that happens every 30 days into the business checking account, because our memberships are use it or lose it every month. And that's the beauty of the business models. We continue to drive the membership with, very little attrition with the membership as we get into sustained operations. And so very reasonable to be able to drive a 6-figure EBITDA out of one unit, I should mention. And our average franchisee across Exponential, excuse me, owns 2.9 units. That's a real, someone asked me, is that a real number? So it's a real number. We know our KPIs. So you gather a high percentage of our franchisees are scaling, opening 3 units over time, not all at once, of course, and really building a business.
So one last question. I'm sorry, Emily, I'm kind of dominating here, but it kind of goes to the membership. So, quick little story. When I got involved back in franchising, long time ago, I remember my dad brought me up to Signal Hill, and Lance, you know that area, but it's there are a lot of little oil derricks up there.
Yeah.
And as we were driving up, he said, "Hey, Paige, look at that oil well over there. Your grandfather owns, a small percentage of that, and every time that little arm goes up and down, he makes a penny." And the cool thing is, it's not a lot of money, but it's 24/7, 24/7.
Yeah.
And so you kind of mentioned the membership aspect of this. And I know a lot of my clients are looking for repeat business. They don't want to actually have to always go out and create new business and new customers. So with Rumble and with Exponential products, how does the membership work?
Yeah, I've said I'll never do anything that's not membership based in franchising again. It's just gold, because in the olden days, which I can speak to, we used to call it the pay-as-you-go finance model, where a lot of gyms would basically, the member would buy a package of classes. Let's say they would say, I'm going to buy a 25 pack. I'm going to come in 2 times a month, do 8 classes a month, chew through 25 classes in 90 days. Sounds great, right? It never happens. That package typically strings out, 4 or 5 months because of vacations and things come up, and then you're constantly renewing that member every time the package does come up, and you're having to renew 100% of your members. So that's why we love the recurring membership business model, because basically it's I call it small, medium, and large in terms of the membership. We make it super simple. So we'll do a 4, 8, or unlimited pack. All of those packages are unlimited for the members. So that if the interesting thing is, an average member that does, let's say, an 8 pack every month, they typically come in, 6 times. The utilization is 6 times, but they still pay for 8, and it auto renews every 30 days automatically without any, you having to renew them. There's a 30-day opt-out, but again, our attrition in these brands is about 5 to 6%. So it's very low attrition with the membership. So that's the beauty of the business model, as you described, Paige, as once we drive enough members to the business where it's generating income, and then we continue to keep those members and bring new ones on. It's very consistent, predictable revenue that we can project. And I love business models like that it's not those, it doesn't have those big peaks and valleys that you do when you're selling packages.
Thank you.
Yep.
So we're looking at the average Expo owner owns 2.9, we'll say 3 locations.
Yeah.
And I think you said that 98% of the top 3% have a GM in place.
Well,
is that right?
You're listening, Emily. I love it. You're exactly right.
I like numbers.
We look at our KPIs, and we want to see what are our best performers doing. And we realize that our best performers are executive owners. They are not in the day-to-day. They are not owner operators. They are utilizing a general manager, as you mentioned.
Yeah. So we've got multi-unit executive owners.
Yep.
We've got great territory available. Can you tell us, before we wrap up, tell us a little bit about the investment?
Sure. Yeah. Again, what's exciting for us is this is not the first time, that we're opening a business model like this. We've opened 1,800 doors really under this box, if you will. It's a 2,000 square foot footprint. We know everything that goes into the box. We have contractors in every major market that we develop in, and et cetera. So it makes it a very streamlined process for us. The average investment for a model like this will be around $400,000 to $450,000 all in, including working capital, build out, franchise fee, everything that goes into it. A large number of our franchise partners will use a financing vehicle. So, as let's say it's 400, they're basically putting in maybe a 20% cash injection and funding, 80% LTV, if you will. So it's a pretty minimal amount of cash down to build a business like this and start realizing a return very quickly in the ramp up of that new business.
Got it. Excellent.
Worth mentioning because we have financing flowing on this, and I think there's some scuttlebug out there that some spaces are having a harder time. Again, it's not necessarily the space; it's the business itself. We're very fortunate where we have had literally 140 million funded through SBA loans across 500 loans at Exponential with 0 defaults. And the bank has a little cheat sheet on the back end and sees that we've never had a permanent failure, that we've never had an SBA default. And we have tremendous financials with the Exponential. So it makes the approval process one that's very simple, as long as our candidate or investor has good, decent financials.
Nice. Well, congratulations on the success of Expo. I've been so excited for this new brand to launch. And for anybody that's watching, if you are interested in learning more about Rumble, Lance and the whole team at Expo, you guys are very selective with whom you work with. So for starters, Paige and I, or your local FranNet associate, we need to make sure we've got an updated entrepreneur profile on file for you. And if we don't have that, you can go ahead and grab your phone, turn on your camera option, and just focus it on this QR code on the left. You'll get a pop-up. You can request that you'll get a link to complete the entrepreneur profile, and then we can engage with you and help get you connected with Expo and on your journey into business ownership. So Lance, Paige, thank you so much. That time really flew by. I feel like we could keep going, but I know we've all got a lot going on these days. So Lance, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for introducing Rumble. I love the culture. I'm a huge fan of Expo, and just salute you and your team 100%.
Thank you for having me. We love working with your referrals. You guys always send us over the best people. So excited to work with you on this one, especially Rumble now. It's because it's wide open, and we are excited to get rumbling.
I love it. I love that. Do you rumble? All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
See you soon, guys. Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Bye.